Hello, class. Today we'll compare two possible career choices and two possible after high school options. The first career I've decided to compare is a cinematographer. A cinematographer, or director of photography, DP for short, is the person in charge of creating the look of a film. They decide things like which lens to use, what kind of shots to use. They are second in command to the director in a production, and they work with people like the grip, the gaffer, and the camera operator. So, in terms of education and training requirements, you need an undergraduate or graduate in photography and cinematography, or film production, acting, art, or other media studies. It is also important to understand lighting, photochemical processes, digital film production, and camera operation. For important on-job work skills, you need to have excellent communication skills and the ability to work well with others. These skills are important because you need to be able to show what the director wants visually. You are in charge of taking what the director imagines in their head and making it a reality. Now, the outlook on cinematographers and directors of photography is really good. Note that the data I researched is pre-COVID, so that might affect things differently, but it's too early to tell. From what I looked at, cinematography jobs have anticipated an 11% growth in the next decade. Ah yes, the salary. But how much do you make? Well, first off, it's important to know that this is not a job you do for the money. You do it out of passion, because you really have to focus and hone your craft, or else people are not going to hire you. Now, it's hard to gauge exactly how much you make, given it's on a project-by-project basis, and so I found wildly varying answers while researching this. Now, Glassdoor has its range at around $31,000 to $68,000 a year, and its average at around $45,736 a year. Glassdoor also has DP and cinematography listed as two different careers, which is weird, but cinematographer has a much wider range at $29,000 to $84,000 a year. Of course, once you make it to Hollywood, you can expect a much higher pay at around $5,000 to $15 a week. Working conditions include odd work hours, traveling to remote filming locations, and harsh weather conditions. I tend to think about the original Star Wars production where they filmed at Death Valley for the Tatooine scenes and Fiancé Northway as Hoth for Empire Strikes Back. You're also expected to know exactly what the director wants the film to look like and communicate that to the rest of the crew. Pros and cons. Pros. First, I'll be doing what I love. If you're familiar with my main channel, KevMZ05, you know that I've loved filmmaking ever since I was little, so it would absolutely be my dream job. Second, I'd get to be creative and express myself visually. I'd get to be an important part of a film production, and I would get to make movies for a living. Cons would be the financial stability. You may not always be busy. Most of your time might be spent looking for jobs in the beginning. Also, when you start off, you're not very hireable. You will probably spend most of your first jobs working for free or very cheap. You also might have to work with or deal with annoying people. A bad director can put a sour taste in your mouth for the whole production. Next up, I have a medical examiner assistant. A medical examiner assistant, or pathologist assistant, is an assistant to the person who examines corpses and determines the cause of death of a victim. The assistant helps around the lab and can perform autopsies and dissections of specimens. Education and training requirements. You need an undergraduate in biology, chemistry, microbiology, forensic science. Then you can go get your master's in science from NAADS accredited pathologist assistant training programs. Then you must pass the ASCP certification exam to get your qualification, which lets employers know that you are in fact qualified for this job. Important skills and knowledge for this job include technical writing skills, manual dexterity, and also you kind of need to have the strength to carry the bodies. Salary. The salary is kind of hard to find given most places group the pathologist assistant with other medical assistants. However, I found an article that gave me two places to look. PlayScale has it listed at $84,930 average annual salary. Meanwhile, our good friend Glassdoor has it listed at $46,219 average. Either way, pathologist assistants are on the lower end of medical careers in terms of pay. The outlook for medical physicians' assistants is amazing. It's expected a 31% growth from 2019 to 2029. Note that these are also pre-COVID, so things might change. So yes, medical examiner assistants are always going to be needed, because if there's one thing for certain, it's the inevitable, ever-ending, ever-closer march towards death. Work tasks include gross examination of specimens, dissection of bodies, photography of specimens, writing reports, and supervising pathology staff. Working conditions. You will most likely come into contact with various bodily fluids. You will probably be exposed to infections, airborne and bloodborne disease, and I also like this line from the article I read about working conditions. Since death neither takes a holiday nor waits for no one, you should be okay with having a flexible schedule. And that's kind of true. People die unexpectedly. It's kind of what we do. So yeah, expect to miss some holidays. Pros and cons. Pros, you get to examine bodies. That's cool. You can help find the cause of death for a victim, give the family closure on their loved one, and solve possible crimes. Cons. It can be icky and gross, and you'll be coming into contact with mutilated bodies and things you cannot unsee. So if you are not comfortable with that, this ain't the job for you. For me, I think I can handle it. You go to school for longer than a regular student. Not as long as most medical students, but still longer. You can expect 6 years. And as much money is expected. You won't be making doctor amounts of cash money, but you'll still be making some dough. My thoughts. Yeah, it definitely seems like a cool career choice. I think I'd be willing to go to college for 2 extra years. Now to compare the two. My first choice would obviously be a DP. It's something I've wanted to do since I can remember. And it gives me an opportunity to express myself creatively. Plus, the feeling of working with someone to create the look of something is a feeling I can't even begin to describe. I would definitely be willing to ignore the harsh weather conditions and all that jazz so I could accomplish my dream job. For the medical examiner, it's a career that piqued my interest after watching Gotham. I did some research, found out that you could do most of the same things without all the extra school if you become an examiner's assistant. So that definitely got me excited that it could very well be a plausible career choice. After high school options. For after high school options, I've chosen trade schools and apprenticeships. Apprenticeships. So an apprenticeship is where you earn and learn, and you get paid to learn from a professional of a certain occupation. Occupations like electricians, plumbers, and even blacksmiths. The pros and cons of an apprenticeship are: pros, you get to earn money as you learn, you get to learn new career skills, and you get on-job training, and you can learn at your own pace. Cons, low salary. The money you earn is not a lot. It's hard to change career paths after an apprenticeship, and you gotta be certain about what you want to do. There's more stress and responsibility involved in an apprenticeship than a normal college student. Plus, you get shorter holidays than a normal college student, so there's that. As for opportunities in my state, there are always apprenticeships available, and there will be more. The list is always changing. There's always openings popping up. The types of students who would participate in an apprenticeship are those who are dead set on their career and eager to get working. My thoughts? As for me, I'm probably not going to be participating in any apprenticeships. First, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I definitely want to explore other careers before I make that big decision. I'm also not eager to work right now. Things I didn't know about apprenticeships before doing my research was I didn't know you could get paid while doing them. That's pretty cool. Also, the amount of available occupations that are apprenticeable was surprising at 1,000. Trade school. Trade schools are schools focusing on one subject or occupation. The pros and cons of trade school are: pros. There are smaller class sizes with like-minded students who also want to learn the same subjects. It saves time and money on school, you get your hands-on training, and you get your degree faster. Cons. You get less financial aid than normal college students, and certain schools can be very expensive. Plus, job opportunities are limited, since you're focusing on one main subject. As for opportunities in my state, I mainly looked at film, music, and art schools since I would mainly want to attend those schools. In the city of Utah, there's the Film Connection in Salt Lake City, Recording Connection, the Sundance Institute, yes, like the film festival, SRS Performing Arts Academy, and the Visual Arts Institute. For my opinion, yeah, I'd definitely go to a film school or music school. That sounds like it would be great for me to explore my passions, but I also like the flexibility of subjects regular college gives me. As for things I learned in my research, not much except that they were called trade/vocational schools, but that's about it. The types of students to attend trade school are those who are passionate about the subject that the school is for, and definitely for those who have a good idea of what they want to do. In conclusion, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do, but I definitely have an open mind. I think the best option for me is to attend college or university. That way I can surround myself with various subjects and see what best suits me. Though I have great interest and a passion for filmmaking, I would definitely be open to trying something like medical examiner assistant or something like that. There are many opportunities out there for me, and I believe I'll find my career someday.